wanted to introduce my family tonight. My wife Vicki here, and then my two sons, Andrew and where's Eric at? Okay, Eric, yes. Robalee's brothers. Many of you have traveled long distances to be here, and some of you have traveled even great distances to come here tonight. And our families want to thank you very much for your attendance here. We really appreciate you all being here tonight. And another thing is that during the day we've received a lot of well wishes from everyone regarding the future happiness of Robalee and Nathan, and we want to tell you that we really appreciate your warm, heartfelt wishes for us this day. We appreciate it very much. It's at a time like this that a lot of memories come back, and I just have a couple of short stories I want to tell you. I won't hold up things too long, but I really feel that this journey started back when Robbie enrolled at Luther College in Decorah. How you, And I really felt that that's where this whole journey started, to get to the millennium here today. And she also experienced a lot of great experiences and met a lot of wonderful people at Sugar Creek Bible Camp near Ferryville, Wisconsin. And then she's also had worked a number of years at Camp Knutson near Brainerd, Minnesota. Met a lot of wonderful people there, and a great experience. And also taking her classes at University of Minnesota, where she, of course, met Nathan there. And so it's all started with Luther College and coming here to Millennium. And today, Robbie and Nathan have joined hands in a great adventure. And it's at times like this that memories come back to you. And one memory that came back to me, I'll tell you about, was kindergarten. First day of kindergarten. Robbie, we were really excited about starting kindergarten, and we prepared for it for weeks, and we had really built up the excitement of getting into kindergarten, and very excited, except the day kindergarten started. And that when we arrived in the car, she started crying on the way over, and I said, well, what's wrong? She said, I've decided I don't want to go to kindergarten. and she started to cry, and I couldn't console her. I couldn't stop her from crying. And we got out of the car, we walked across the schoolyard, and we got to the door, and she wrapped her arms around my leg. And I couldn't peel her arms off of my leg. And she kept crying and going on, and she was very upset. And finally, I was able to drag her into the door. And we got inside, and I looked across the room, and I saw Lindsay Duzan. Where's Lindsay at? There, Lindsay's here. There's Lindsay. And I said, there's your little friend Lindsay. Go over and talk to her. And so as soon as Robalee looked over at Lindsay, I darted out the door. I felt like a coward. And I got outside, and I thought, she'll be okay. And she is okay. She can walk out. I also want to, at this time, welcome Nathan into our family, my third son. I have 3 sons now, and Vicki and I are very proud and happy to have him for our new son. But I have to say, I feel that I've really bonded with Nathan earlier when he was, in fact, it was on our most recent visit to our home that when Robbie and Nathan were visiting. And I don't know why, but I had turned to him and I told him that, Nathan, you should feel free to help yourself to the refrigerator at any time. And I really felt that was the bonding moment. And it's not easy for a guy to go to the refrigerator. My head's in it all the time. Anyway, at this time, I would like to propose that we raise our glasses in honor to Robalee and Nathan. And if you don't mind, I would like to have you all please stand in their honor. Dear Robalee and Nathan, may your home be filled with peace and love and God's great blessings from above. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not going to duplicate the lovely welcome that John gave earlier, but just mention it's just wonderful having everybody come and join us for this wonderful celebration. I'd like to propose a toast, but before I do that, I do have a few words I'd like to say. Broadly, in the time that I've known you, I've made two observations. First, that it would be impossible for anyone who spent 5 minutes with you not to immediately like you. You're just a very likable person. And not everybody has that trait. You do, and it's a gift. Second thing, and this is really more of confession than anything, we've had some problems with your name. What it means, how to spell it, how to pronounce it. When Nathan first told us that he was dating somebody by the name of Robalee, my first thought was, gosh, I'd never heard a name like this before. What type of name is that? And I thought perhaps you'd been named after a Confederate general. It was with some relief when we met you, we noticed you didn't look anything like Robert E. Lee. However, your brother Eric somehow does have that The other thing was how to pronounce your name. And for a while we thought it was Robalee, and then it was Robalee, and finally we got it as Robalee. So I think we got it. And lastly, and this is really more of my own issue, I have some problems with spelling. Your name has a lot of vowels, and this is confusing to me. But to be honest, I had misspelled my own wife's name, Crispin, for many years, thinking it ended in E-N, only to later learn that it ended in I-N. It is I-N, isn't it? I got it. It was with no small relief when we learned that you decided to adopt the Wanderman name, because given the challenge that we had with Robalee, I don't think we were prepared to deal with the name Shell or as Aquila. Regardless, it's with joy that we welcome you into this family. Nathan, I've known his whole life. From the very beginning. We had actually videotaped your birth, and I was hoping I could share that with everyone. But due to a small technical glitch, that being my wife saying this was the most insane idea she ever heard, we're not going to be doing it. But trust me, it was spectacular. And your life ever since then has been spectacular. Nathan and I have done lots of wonderful things together. We've shared highs such as climbing Mount Kilimanjaro together, and lows like all of the losing Timberwolves games we've gone to in the last 10 years. But through it all, Nathan's been really a wonderful son, a fantastic companion, and ultimately a great friend to me. Nathan has really had an extraordinary life and done some really extraordinary things. And I'm not going to go through the whole list. We don't have that much time. But just a few highlights. One, he took a record number of AP exams, 10 AP exams in high school, and got a 5 on them. He not only gave his commencement address in high school and received a standing ovation for it, But then he went on to do the same thing in college, this time in front of a crowd of 5,000 people in Norfolk, Ontario. I have to tell you, Nathan, you were cool as a cucumber when you did that. I was a wreck. And when he did Teach for America, he got 34 of his kids in the Bronx, 34 out of 35, to pass the Regents exam. Kids that had taken this exam 4 times and had failed it in the past. But he got 34 out of 35 to pass. It's really remarkable. I think perhaps the most extraordinary thing he's ever done occurred in a pub in the small town of Talkeetna, Alaska. When faced with the daunting challenge of consuming a 5-pound hamburger known as Seward's Folly, he not only devoured that 5-pound hamburger, but the pound of fries that it came with. He was only the 2nd person in history to accomplish it and survive. I mention all this not to brag, but really just to make a point. That none of this, in the context of what's going on today, really matters. Except possibly that burger. Nathan, I'm going to take the time. I want you to know, Mom and I are so proud of you about that hamburger. And she's a vegetarian. But no, really, none of it really matters. What does matter is that you've each found in each other somebody to love, that loves you back, that brings out the best in each of you, and now can go and build a life with together. That's what really matters. Everything else pales in significance. So when did I first find out that the 2 of you guys really were in love? Well, 2 moments in time. One occurred a few years ago. I participated in a run on Thanksgiving Day called the 2-Pie Run. Basically, the premise is that if you run around 2 of the chain lakes, Harriet and Calhoun, you can now have 2 pieces of pie guilt-free. Not 2 pies, but 2 pieces. Well, every year I'd ask Nathan, how about you come and join me on this run? And every year I get the same response, no, I hate running, I'm not going. But every year I'd ask him reliably, would you come? And every year I get the same exact response, no, I hate running, I'm not going. Well, a few years ago, Robalee was in town, and I asked Nathan, how about the 2 of you guys coming out and joining me for the run? Well, the response was slightly different. It was probably not, but I'll ask Robalee. Just don't count on it. Well, the day the run came, and sure enough, who shows up but Nathan and Robalee? And to this day, Nathan says that that run almost killed him. He's bringing this up. But I knew at the time that he did it because Robalee wanted to do it. And I knew then that he was in love with Robalee. The second moment was actually more recent. It was actually fairly soon after the 2 of them became engaged, and this was in May. Nathan and I were sitting and watching downstairs the NFL draft on TV. So just to paint the picture here, the Cleveland Browns had just moved up, training Philadelphia, and now they're 20 seconds out. They're on the clock, but now their pick was in. And Commissioner Goodell was now going to come to the podium to announce who they had picked. At that very moment, Nathan's phone rang. And the conversation went something like this. Hello? Watching the NFL draft? The Browns? I can't talk right now. I'll talk to you later. And I said to Nathan, who was that? And he said, oh, that was Robalee. And I thought to myself, gosh, this seems unusual. You know, they just got engaged. Such a brief conversation. Wouldn't she have wanted to talk some more? I thought to myself. After a little while, I thought a little bit more, and I realized that a lot was said in those few short words. really, although Robalee had no way of knowing at that moment that the fate of the universe of football was about to be, was hinging on the words that were now going to come out of Roger Goodell's mouth. She didn't know this, but what she did know was that this was a time that Nathan actually needed, he needed some space. And she was gracious enough to give that to him. And I knew at that point that she really knew him, that she trusted him, and she indeed did love him. Anyway, two people in love, two people who will now navigate their futures together. They can plan it together, and now they can dream together. And on that note, let me propose my toast to Nathan, to Robalee, to love and to life. L'chaim.
Thank you so much, Mark. That was so sweet. I just wanted to say a really quick word here. Today's obviously a spectacular day for Nathan and I. It's so surreal to have all of you here, you know, both sides of the family, friends from all different, you know, eras of our lives. It's such a surreal feeling. So thank you so much for being here tonight. But a specialist tonight is for Nathan and I. This is also a very important day for somebody who's very special to me, and that is my mom. That is my mom, Vicki Keelan, right here, Vicki Shallon. Mom, give a wave, stand up.
Give a wave.
It is my mom's birthday today. So when Nathan and I got engaged, we were kind of looking at dates, and January 31st was our first choice. And I remember I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, you know, January 31st is the date we want, but that's your birthday. Like, how do you feel about that? And she was like, that would be the best birthday present ever. And so that is my mom. And so I was hoping that all 140 of us could join together and give my mom the richest, fullest happy birthday that she has ever enjoyed. I won't say what birthday this is, but it starts something with like a 6. So we'll just go with that. So on the count of 3, Vicki, it's your birthday. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Vicki. Happy birthday to you.
Fourscore and 9 years ago, approximately, 2 young and intelligent, fine, beautiful, perfect first years at Winter College met in the Brand Hall Study Lounge. I was in search for an accompanist to help me along with my vocal endeavors, and Robbie was reading from Hidea, I believe. I found Robbie's name and went up to her with a book of songs in my hand and boldly asked, "Will you be my accompanist?" She pondered, thought, and then said, "No." But it was much nicer. And that was our first interaction. That obviously left an imprint in my mind and on my heart. Fortunately, approximately 8 months later, we were given a second chance when we were placed as co-RAs for Rand Hall's 2007-2008 year. It was that fall when we really hit it off. From door decorations to icebreaker games to resident crises to staff gatherings galore, inquiries, and formed a beautiful bond. Romantic, right? Since then, I've truly been able to consider Robbie as one of my best friends. And best friends we have remained, even while living in different states, countries, and continents. Thanks to Skype, cell phones, cars, and snail mail. Approximately 3 to 4 years ago, Robbie told me about her TA. For biochem, I said, Go on. And before we knew it, love was in the air. I wanted to meet this mystery man who is brilliant, only eats one meal a day, and, wait for it, writes musicals. What? It took a long time, but I finally met him New Year's Eve 2012. What a special evening. Matt, my significant other, and I tried a new lasagna recipe, which was the greasiest thing we have ever made. So we naturally served it to Nathan and Robbie. And then we talked about science. Well, they did, and I just smiled and nodded. And then we boiled water and watched it freeze in the cold, crisp Minnesotan air. After that, it's no surprise that Nathan is somehow never available when I'm around and he is around. But he doesn't mind Robbie hanging out with me, so that's nice. But I know it's not true. Anyways, Nathan and Robbie share something so beautiful and strong with their passion for life, medicine, and adventures, and their love for one another. Although I haven't gotten to try again with Nathan and cook him a better meal, I know Robbie absolutely adores him and he adores her. I couldn't be happier that they are getting married today, or already married. They are a truly beautiful couple, inside and out, and have so much to offer the world. I can't wait for their love to grow and to get to enjoy them as a couple. Here is to the newlyweds, Mr. and Mrs. Wanderman.
For the record, that lasagna was delicious.
Good evening. I'm Marie. I'm also a lady. I'm not going to go further. Robbie and I were classmates at Luther, co-counselors at Camp Knutson, roommates in Minneapolis, and backpacking buddies across Europe. We're all here for the same reason. We know, and we've experienced firsthand, that Robbie and Nathan are two of the most generous, compassionate, considerate people in our lives. After Robbie vetoed my request to get my toast via PowerPoint, which she will regret, I mean, pretty good, I've decided to share a story from when Robbie and Nathan started dating. So as you've heard by now, Nathan was Robbie's TA. If anyone doesn't know what that is, it's a teaching assistant, so that's where they met. But I'm going to retell the story again, just to make sure you guys really know it. So Robbie had mentioned that she had one heck of a cute biochem TA early on in the semester, and upon realizing that this TA thought she was a cutie right back, things started to take shape, once the semester was over, of course. Robbie and I were emailing at the time about where we would be moving in together in Minneapolis. I wrote and asked about the latest on Nate. I was first corrected, Nathan, and then told, is out of town until June 3rd. So I told him to call me when he gets into town. We'll see if he does. Smiley face. I'm not holding my breath. Period. These are direct quotes. I have the email to show it. Next email 2 days later. P.S. Nathan called. And another smiley face. So, as you heard during the ceremony, they went on their first date. Robbie played it cool and suggested coffee, and Nathan threw the tie dinner curveball. She emailed me later, again, this is an email I have on record, to let me know, quote, he is very sweet. There is definitely something there. And another smiley face. Turns out, Robbie could have held her breath, because here they are. I wish the two of you all the best. You have already changed all of our lives for the better. And I cannot wait to witness the incredible doctors, mentors, teachers, and eventually parents that you become. To Robbie and Nathan.
Hi, my name is Max Wanderman. I'm Nathan Wanderman brother. So, this is going to be a slightly different best man speech. This is going to be a slightly different best man speech. I think I finished this about 5 in the morning tomorrow. Yesterday. So we'll see how coherent it turned out. So we'll see. Okay. Let me tell you about the elusive Nathan Wanderman. Your average Nathan Latin name Wandia gargantua, is about 6'1" and weighs a generous 165 pounds. Adolescent Nathans, however, can reach up to 200 pounds and try to become politicians. Other distinguishing features are the tree trunk-like calves, and the defining call that can be heard miles away. Well, I can do it a little bit. It goes something like, "Pew!" Yes. The temperament of a Nathan is very similar. It's very kind and fiercely loyal. They've been willing to defend their family by any means necessary. This includes fighting, calling Comcast customer service, and even eating at Arby's. I happened to grow up with a Nathan. As children, Nathans are predisposed to delusions of grandeur. In my case, Nathan thought he was the king of the universe, and thusly would enforce his reign by repeatedly jumping on me. He was a benevolent leader. As he grew older, the 80s transformed into the 90s. Nathan began to explore new ideas and concepts. One of these was irony, which he expressed by, again, jumping on me while singing Alanis Morissette's Irony. I never really understood the levels of irony in that. As Nathans come to reach adolescence, they are known for becoming incredibly ambitious about their goals. They attack them with a Herculean tenacity that rivals Ahab and the Ahab metaphors in Jaws combined. My Nathan ended up graduating top of his class in high school, college, and then going on to do Teach for America to help out hundreds of children, and then going on to medical school to become what I would assume the best doctor, the best orthopedist in the tri-state area. You picked the 3 states. And done this while being considerably an amazing person. After a lifetime of such unabridged winning, it comes time for Nathans to find a mate. But how can a creature, whose very name is lone wolf in the language I just made up, find someone worthy enough to stand with his Bentley of biology? Well, my Nathan has kissed a lot of frogs. A few of which have turned into princes, but unfortunately very poor countries. To find a perfect match of Robalee. So congratulations, Nathan. You have finally found your queen of the universe.
So, yeah, I was thinking about stories to tell about Nate for this toast, and I sort of came up short. Not because those stories don't exist. I could easily tell you about how he wore khakis to school every day, despite the fact that there was no dress code at all. Or how he went through this phase, eBay addiction, where he was trying to make himself look like, and I quote, a Scandinavian cowboy. Or, of course, as Max pointed out, the brief period of time where he doubled his food intake in an effort to get huge. That was the goal. But I couldn't come up with any good stories because for Nate, the most meaningful parts were these small little moments. There was him teaching me vocabulary when I was 6 years or more too young for it. I don't know why a 7-year-old needs to know what ostentations meant, but I did. And there was this one night I was in elementary school again, and you and some of the crew back there were playing video games, and you guys let me play a 50-turn game of Mario Party, which is a commitment. It is a serious commitment. And they let me play, Nathan let me play with his friends the whole night without thinking about how cool it made him look. And there was this time, I'm sorry. There were all these times in college, and we'd come back from college, and I was in high school, and he would always make up an excuse like, oh, I had to do laundry, whatever. And then he would just sit with me and like throw the football or like play ping pong and just hang out. And there was no reason for him to come home other than just to see me. and talk to me about like what his life was like and ask me about mine. And all this stuff, like these little things, made such an impact on me. He taught me to be smart and how to work really, really hard. And he taught me how to not care about looking cool, as I'm doing right now. And you taught me how to be confident in myself before I asked anybody else to be confident in me. And you taught me how to give speeches. All this stuff was really meaningful to me, and I credit you with a lot of who I am. But the best lesson that I learned from you, probably of this whole thing, is what I'm learning tonight, which is what it looks like when you meet the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And it is so cool. Because I have somebody to copy now. And I thank you for that. And Robalee, I've gotten the pleasure of growing up with two incredible brothers who have shown me through all of their mistakes how to live, how to do it right, and who have looked out for me this whole time. And to me, the highlight of this entire day is that now I have a big sister to look out for me too. I love you guys. Let's party, but before we get to it, there's just like one thing we left out a little bit. Let's see, yeah. So Nathan, as you may have heard, he's written some musicals. And he wrote a little chunk of the song, but never got to finish it. And so Max and I put together just a short rendition. We could close it up. I hope you like it.
It's alright, as long as no one falls.
Ever since I was a boy, and I could look at the stars, I'd stare up and wonder just what was there past the planets like Mars. Were there cowboys, or space doubloons, or a fire-breathing llama? Well, ladies and gents, as it turns out, it was an unexpected music genre. It was a rock and roll surprise. You know what you wanna do, come on, just go and do it. Rock and roll surprise. Yeah, it's gonna happen, just let it happen tonight. Sorry, keep going, guys. Fast forward some years, and now I'm a teen, thinking it was all just made up. And then walks my bro, his name is Nathan. He taught me how to turn around my luck. He said, live life, solitude, the happiest, all the austere. Then he pulled an electric guitar and drums and a microphone out of thin air. It was a rock and roll surprise. You know you wanna do it, I'll just go and do it. Rock and roll surprise. Yeah, it's gonna happen, just let it happen tonight. That's Wanderman, ladies and gentlemen. He went on to propose to the woman with whom he's meant to be. Little known fact, it happened real close at a restaurant known as OG. They were laughing and smiling and eating breadsticks, and Nathan reached for a special one. Robbie cracked it open and inside she found a diamond bright as the sun. It was a rock and roll surprise. The wonderful, the talented Mr. Max Wanderman.
Just so we're on the same page.
I don't know what, yeah. Cool save.
Have a ton of fun. We've got a gratuitously high cap on the amount of alcohol that can be had, so please don't restrain yourselves. We're starting to dance pretty soon. I hope all of you, young, old, uncoordinated, or coordinated, will join us out there and have some fun. Thank you again. Robalee and I are being set on our way in the best way possible. Thank you so much.